Yeah, that's right. What are you doing?
Not shooting.
The biggest, if not the only problem reported by Goblin Deuce users is shells becoming impotent when they are stored in the marker on the field. There's nothing more discouraging than going to a target, aiming your marker, pulling the trigger, and hearing nothing but a small fizz or a small pop. A healthy shell with healthy O-rings should be able to hold the charge for the entirety of a half-hour game, if not an entire day. I've made this video to show how to replace problem O-rings and a few tips to maintain their life in the longest way possible. I've also included some safety tips as well.
Now, after you use a shell or reassemble one, what you're going to want to look for is, as you can see with this shell here, the fill nipple is slightly higher than the other ones. That's because the O-rings have not seated correctly. Now, if you take it apart, take the valve stem out. As you can see here, we've got a frayed O-ring. Now this is the O-ring, these two O-rings rather, are the two I find break the most, or dry out the most, or rupture the most. Especially when playing in cold weather conditions. I used the Goblin Solo shells for over 6 or 7 months, and I had no problem with them at all. I actually never replaced one until I got the Goblin Deuce, and I think that's probably due to the fact that the springs were removed from the valve housing. But it's a catch-22 situation where if you don't remove the springs, you're gonna have a very heavy trigger pull. So what we can do here is replace this O-ring. Okay, we're gonna go in our O-ring bag here and take out the correct one, not the smallest, but the second smallest. Goblin intuitively includes several of these in each bag. Make sure you don't use grease or an oil that's going to expand O-rings, because that's going to give you a bad seal in the end as well. Now what we're going to do is remove the problem O-ring and install the good O-ring back on. Okay, here I have the shredded O-ring off. I'm going to get my new O-ring back on. Now where the problem happens, I found, is in the base of the housing. When these two O-rings pass through the back, there's very little clearance. Now that reduces leaks, but if you have a grease or an oil that will swell the O-rings, or you're playing in cold weather, that can actually cause them to expand, and as they go through this little hole here, they can actually shred. It can also happen if they dry out, or if you use Dow 55, like I said, a grease or an oil that will cause them to swell up. So just avoid those. Now, two greases I recommend are Tech T Gun Save, whatever you want to call it, and Dow 33, because both will not expand your O-rings. Just get a little dab of it, put it on them, not too much. Insert the valve stem back into the housing. Screw the base back on. Push the valve stem back into the end. Now remember, when you do this part, be very careful that you don't over compress the O-rings, because that will make them rupture or fray, and then you'll have to do this all over again. Now another O-ring that I had trouble with was the one that sealed the valve stem. This black one right here, that basically just makes a seal when before you pull the trigger. What happens is the valve stem will come out a little bit and the air will protrude and make your ball fly. But this black O-ring on the around here, if it swells at all or if it gets dried out, you won't get a proper seal. That one's very easy to change. You get a few of them in the bag. I haven't had as many of them blow out as the other two. Now remember, when you're putting it together, don't ever force anything. Make everything finger tight. And a healthy shell should look like this. The valve stem out at an appropriate length, just about flush with the rest of the base of the valve housing. The front not compressed, no O-ring shards hanging out. Everything here looks to be in good order. A healthy shell should hold the charge no problem. After your shell looks like it's in good condition, all your O-rings are changed, everything is in good order, nothing's sticking out. Just get your charger with it. Press your charger into the fill port on your valve. Hold that down for 5 to 10 seconds. They recommend you use CO2 with it. You can use compressed air as well. And then after you've done that, size your paintballs. You're using a paintball that's a good fit with the .668 Magnum. Put that on, put your paintball inside, and then it's as easy as loading it into the Goblin Deuce. And then you're ready to play. Now you have the safety here to make sure that you can't pull the trigger when you don't mean to. So when you're storing the Deuce or transporting on a field, you should have the safety lever in the forward position, which is not fire. And when you're ready to shoot, flick it back and then you're ready to shoot. Now, as I've said before, when you pull the trigger, it's going to make the valve stem go forward. So when you take the shell out of the Goblin Deuce, do not be alarmed when it looks like this. You see the valve stem hanging out. You say, oh my god, I broke my shell. You didn't, don't worry about it. Just put it back in and make sure not to fray any O-rings. See, it pops in there easily. If it doesn't pop in easily, don't panic, don't force it. Take the shell apart and make sure your O-rings that we just replaced are in good order again. If they aren't, replace them. If they are, just try more carefully next time. Now, safety or not, I tell a lot of people that the Goblin Deuce and Goblin Solo are the safest paintball guns in the world. Why is that? Because you don't rely on a safety. I know they both have a safety feature that you can engage, but I don't believe in safeties on paintball markers or real firearms. They're just false security. What you can do with these is break them open, leave them broken, and you can verify that there is no shell inside. If you can't see a shell, the marker is broken open, it physically can't fire, it's completely safe if it's broken open and there's no shell inside. You can visually make sure. Now that's one thing that they teach you on firearm training. It's called prove. Part of it is inspecting the board to make sure there is no live round inside. That is what you can basically do with the Goblin Solo and Goblin Deuce, just to verify that there is no live round inside. That makes it, in my opinion, the safest marker.